friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Megan and today we are doing my November TBR. This is pretty much going to be an exact replica of my October TBR because I strayed very far from my October TBR and read almost all audiobooks, and almost all the books I chose for October did not have an audiobook associated with it, or did not have an audiobook associated with it available at the time. October was just a very busy month for me in regards to my current job, and I just did not have time to physically read, and when I did have time, I just did not have the motivation. So without further ado, let's get into what my November TBR is. I've kind of prioritized my TBR this time just so that I have a better idea of what I'm getting into. My first priority for November is to finish the 3 books that I'm currently working on, and I'm sure that you've seen these two quite a bit, particularly The Near Witch by V.E. Schwab. I talked about this almost the entire last 2 months and saying how I was going to read it and then just never picking it up. So that is the main goal for this month. If nothing else, I just want to finish this book. This tells the story of Lexi, who sees something outside of her window that seems kind of abnormal in this city. So she tracks it down, and together her and the things she finds are on the hunt for the Near Witch, or at least the hunt for why things are happening in this town. The next book I would like to read is Shadow Frost by Coco. I wanted to read this last month because it came out last month and I wanted to get a quick review out for it, and I did not achieve that, but I've started on it and I'm on page 44 and it is phenomenal so far. It's got a lot of aspects I really love. It's just finding the time to, again, physically read. So hopefully I'm gonna have some more time this month and I'll be able to pick this up. This tells the story of Astric, who's the princess of Ixaria, and this kingdom is being threatened by a shadow beast, and only Astric has the power to defeat it. And the last in my first priorities is the book I'm currently working on as an audiobook, and that is Muse of Nightmares by Laini. I'm loving it so far. It is the sequel to Strange the Dreamer, and if you haven't heard of Strange the Dreamer, it tells the story of Laszlo, who all he wants to do is discover what's going on in the city of Weep, and when he is given the opportunity, he takes full advantage. And yeah, this is the sequel. Don't want to give away any more than that, and yeah. The next tier of priority is to finish some of the books I've been receiving in my subscription boxes, because if I'm spending that much money on them, I should probably actually read the books. So the first one is Wicked Saints by Emily A. Duncan, and this tells the story of a girl, a prince, and a monster whose paths become entwined on a certain adventure. The next book I'd like to pick up is Four Dead Queens by Astric Scholte. This was another book from a book box, and it tells the story of 2 people who get in sort of a tussle or sort of disagreement, and their discrepancy kind of somehow leads to a scenario in which all 4 queens are dead, and so they are on this mission to discover what happened. The next book is The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd Jones, and this tells the story of a girl who's a gravedigger, and she is on this quest with a mapmaker to discover why the bodies are not staying dead. Next is The Merciful Crow by Margaret Owen, and all I know about this is it involves tooth magic or something to do with magic from teeth, so I don't want to look too much more into this because it is severely hyped, so I don't want to have a lot of thoughts going into it, so I'm trying to stay as out of the loop of this as possible when I read it. And the book of the book box books that I'm most excited to read is House of Salt and Sorrows. This is by Erin A. Craig, and it is a 12 Dancing Princesses retelling, and it seems to be a very dark retelling, so I'm super excited about this one. I wish I had picked it up in October, but I just did not finish anything in October, so we're killing it. These are also from book boxes, but they're lower on the list of priority as far as my TBR goes, and that is the Sorcery for Beginners, a Codex of the Arcanum, and this is by Euphemia Whitmore with Matt Harry, and this is from the Unicorn Crate box, and it tells the story of this specific book, and it is lost, and a 13-year-old or some teenage boy finds it and starts using it, and so the sorcerers of this town are out to get him and the book back. And the last book is The Bone Charmer by Breeana Shields, and this tells the story of a girl who does not want to be a bone charmer. She wants to be literally anything but a bone charmer, but her mother is trying to decide her fate for her. So her mother's decided fate and then her own decided fate are kind of intertwining in this twist of two futures. And then these last three are books I'll just read if I have the time and get to them. And that is The Girl Who Drank the Moon. This is by Kelly Barnhill. It tells the story of a witch who is living in this forest, and these people of the town think that she's evil, so they keep sacrificing children to her to appease her. And she's actually like a nice witch, so she keeps taking in these children because she doesn't understand why these people are just leaving babies out in the woods. And this specific child she accidentally fed too much of the moon to, so yeah. It seems like a cute little fall, autumn, specifically October story, but we'll make it work in November. Next is The Wicked King by Holly Black. This is the sequel to The Cruel Prince. The Cruel Prince tells the story of three sisters who are forcibly taken to the world in which fairies live, and yeah. And lastly is A Conjuring of Light. This is the third book in the A Darker Shade of Magic trilogy, and it's honestly embarrassing that I have not read this yet because I finished the other two books quite some time ago, and I really want to read this. I'm afraid for the series to end, I believe, but there are rumors that this series is continuing, and so I can finally work up the nerve to read it. But that is my TBR for this month. Again, it was very, very similar, if not the exact same as my October TBR, but stay tuned to see if I actually stick with it this month. Thanks for watching. Bye, friends.